This is Raven Moon with predictions for the 1st to the 7th of June 2026. This week's astrology wants you to stop treating every mood like a prophecy. This week comes with a simple, slightly irritating truth. Not every thought is true, not every feeling is a forecast, and not every we need to talk text is the beginning of your villain origin story. The astrology of the 1st to the 7th of June has a clear main character, and it's Mercury, the planet associated with communication, interpretation, and the mental spirals you insist are just being perceptive. The catch: Mercury doesn't just describe how we speak, it describes how we read, tone, timing, subtext, silence, emojis, the whole thing. This week, words can heal, words can harm, and words can also send you into a full internal documentary series titled What They Really Meant. So here's the question the week keeps asking, whether you like it or not. Are you responding to what is actually happening, or to the story you've built around it? Because this week is the week where a story can take off in your head in under 30 seconds. And the goal isn't emotional suppression. The goal is emotional clarity. To think clearly without going numb, and to feel deeply without turning every mood into a prophecy. Mercury enters Cancer on Monday, shifting communication into a more emotional register. That sounds gentle in theory. In practice, it can feel like your brain becomes an emotional scrapbook and someone spills water all over the pages. When Mercury is in Cancer, we don't just hear words, we hear history. We remember how something feels, not just what was said. Conversations can become tender, protective, nostalgic, or defensive, sometimes all at once. This is the energy of reading tone like it's a legal document, revisiting old dynamics in new conversations, craving comfort, familiarity, and people who feel safe, getting activated by criticism that normally wouldn't land so sharply. This transit can be beautiful for heart-to-heart conversations and emotional honesty. It can blur the lines between intuition and conditioning. The difference between "I sense something is off" and "this reminds me of an older wound, so my alarm system is screaming." Before you respond to the message that annoyed you, pause and ask, am I reacting to the situation or to what the situation reminds me of? If you're about to send an emotionally loaded text, write it in your notes first. Edit it like your relationships depend on it, because this week they might. Tuesday brings a stabilizing moment. The sun forms a sextile to Saturn. When Monday is emotional weather, Tuesday is a clipboard. It's the day where you can finally organize the mental chaos, make a plan, and move from thinking about it to doing something about it. This is supportive energy for getting grounded and taking yourself seriously, not in a dramatic way, but in a practical one. It favors writing and planning, clear decisions, boundary setting, serious conversations, projects that need consistency. It also has a very specific message for anyone who's been stuck in information addiction, consuming advice, content, opinions, and motivation on loop. While avoiding the first uncomfortable step, Tuesday rewards action over analysis. You don't need a flawless 10-year plan. You need one real step. Send the email, start the outline, make the appointment, have that conversation. Choose one thing you've been circling for weeks and take one concrete step. Not the whole staircase, just the next step. Wednesday is where misunderstandings can mutate into full-blown fantasy. Mercury forms a square to Neptune midweek. This is the classic facts get slippery transit. The mind fills in gaps with imagination, and feelings start narrating reality. This energy can be gorgeous for creativity, music, dreams, spiritual reflection, therapy, and emotional insight. But it can also bring mixed signals, projection, wishful thinking, avoidance, believing rumors because they feel true, and making assumptions instead of asking. It's the day where someone takes 3 hours to reply and you're brain writes an entire psychological thriller starring abandonment issues, betrayal trauma, and suspiciously symbolic playlist. Mercury and Neptune is not ideal for signing contracts, making confident declarations based on vibes, or turning one confusing interaction into a verdict about your entire life. It's a day for discernment. Not every feeling is prophecy, and not every vibe is intuition. If something feels emotionally charged, gather more information before you react. Reread the message. Verify details. Ask a clarifying question. Your imagination is powerful today, but it may also be freelancing. From Thursday, the moon moves into Aquarius, offering perspective and breathing room. After Wednesday's fog, Aquarius energy helps you to step back and see patterns instead of drowning in feelings. Aquarius asks, what is actually happening beneath the emotional theater? It is supportive for reconnection with friends, brainstorming and problem solving, community and social activity, looking at situations more objectively. But Aquarius has a shadow side. Emotional detachment disguises maturity. Sometimes people use logic as armor. Sometimes you'll feel tempted to rise above it when what you're actually doing is avoiding vulnerability. This is your reminder. There's a difference between a healthy perspective and pretending you don't care because caring feels risky. Talk to someone outside the situation you're obsessing over. Aquarius benefits from outside perspective. Friends can spot the pattern faster because they're not trapped inside the emotional loop. By late Saturday into Sunday, the moon moves into Pisces, softening everything again. Pisces energy increases sensitivity, compassion, imagination, and emotional permeability. It can feel dreamy and restorative, or exhausting, depending on how much emotional noise you've already been carrying. This is an ideal window for rest, creative work, spiritual practices, music and film, forgiveness and emotional release. But Pisces also comes with rescue fantasies. Be careful about trying to save people who are committed to their own chaos. Compassion is healthy. Emotional martyrdom is not. Pisces, at its best, understands that empathy without boundaries becomes self-erasure. Create intentional quiet time. Turn off the noise for a few hours. Let yourself decompress without immediately reaching for distraction. The astrology of the 1st to the 7th of June is ultimately about discernment and communication. The difference between reacting and responding, between intuition and projection, between fear and truth. Mercury in Cancer makes words personal. Sun Saturn supports responsibility and follow through. Mercury Neptune warns against confusing emotional intensity with factual certainty. Aquarius helps you zoom out and regain perspective. And Pisces helps you soften, release, and feel without losing yourself. If you do one thing this week, let it be this. Pause long enough to ask a better question before you jump to conclusions. That pause can save relationships, protect your peace, and keep you from turning one mood into a prophecy.